Welcome to the NBA Pub Hub, Pub Sports Radio, Friday, December 30th. It's the final NBA Pub Hub of 2022. Incredible. Another year just flying by before you can blink. It's over. We're here for a Friday NBA slate, a big slate, 9 games. Ian Cameron, Skee Profit, Billy Briz. We're ready to break it down. We'll start with Washington taking on Orlando. The Wizards, 5.5 point road favorites, 225.5 the total in this game. Orlando cooled off all of a sudden, one of the hottest teams in the NBA, but dropping back-to-back games against the Lakers and the Pistons in their last 2 games, coming back down to earth, quite possibly, if you look at it that way. Both of these teams, though, have been playing better. Orlando, even after the 2 losses they've just suffered, still a very impressive 8-3 in their last 11 games. That's straight up. Meanwhile, you've got Washington. They've won 4 of their last 5, and the last 2 on home court, beating Philly 116-111, and then beating down the Phoenix Suns 127-102. Did catch the Suns on a back-to-back after a big win the night before, but still, Wizards are playing a little bit better, no question about that. Although Bradley Beal right now questionable tonight with the hamstring, always you have to pay attention to whether he suits up for the Wizards. Orlando does have a bunch of injuries on their side of it, and of course they were involved in that crazy fracas that with the Pistons the other night, right by the bench area, both teams getting into it physically. And as a result of that, you've got some absences stemming from that. Bamba is out, suspended for this game. Mo Wagner, who was directly involved in that altercation with Detroit the other night, he's been suspended for 2 games as well. Wendell Carter serving a suspension as well in that for the Magic. So definitely a shorthanded team. Tough game. It really is. Washington's on a roll. I don't know if I want to lay 5.5, especially against the team that's put so much money in my pocket the last month, Orlando, although it does look like the Magic will be shorthanded, and they are cooling off a little bit the last couple. So tough game. Probably going to leave it alone, stay on the sideline, which is probably what Orlando players should have done the other night against Detroit, stay on the sideline. But that's another story. What do you think here, Skee? Washington and Orlando.
I have to like Washington. It's a lot of players missing for this Orlando team, and really the reason I like them is because I feel like it's 2 teams going in opposite directions now. For a while, the Magic were covering, winning games, but the past 2 they've lost in blowout fashion versus they're not even good teams, the Pistons and the Lakers. So that's kind of a red flag and telling me that the Magic are regressing back to where they should be, and the Wizards, they're coming off a blowout win. And they're, I feel like they lost a lot of games recently and they're more hungry. So I like the Wizard squad. I want to say they are 5-1 ATS the last 6. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I took a -5. And the system that says kind of the same thing I'm explaining to fade Orlando is home dogs after getting blown out in back-to-back games. And when I say that, it's just losing by double digits versus an opponent off a blowout win. I have them as 38.5% against the spread. That says fade Orlando. So I'm gonna go with the Wizards today.
All right, laying it on the road here with Washington for Skee. All right, Billy, what do you think?
I gotta give a quick shout outs to the chat, man. We have last show of the year. You gotta show some love to the people. It's Snizzle in the chat, Mo Harris, Justin McNeely, Bell A, Nasty Nate, Mo Harris, Star Videos, Alfonso Scott. Who else is in here? Cardine Dean, Joel Kim, and shout outs to the man, the myth, the legend, the boss of this thing, Pub Sports Radio. Slaughter's own birthday is today. So go over to Pub Sports Radio and wish Slaughter a happy birthday. For this game specifically, a lot of players out for the Magic today, like you were talking about. Prop-wise, I think it's going to be a very thin front court. The only 2 bodies that I see in the front court that are active tonight is Bol and Schofield. And Emerald Schofield isn't a guy that they want to give more than, I would say, 15 to 20 minutes to. Bol's points are at 15.5 now, opened up 14.5. I kind of like the over on that, but he should be playing 32-plus minutes in this type of game. He scored 18-plus points in 6 out of those 7 games that he's played 32-plus minutes. The Wizards are allowing the second most points to opposing centers and top 5 for points and rebounds. So whenever Bol's props pop back up, that would be the move that I would be on. And it would probably be the point prop. I don't want to trust if he's going to get rebounds or assists. I just want to strictly go towards the buckets. I think Bol's going to score a lot today.
All right, Bull to be active early and often for Orlando tonight. All right, Lakers and Hawks. We've got Atlanta 6-point home favorites. Look at this total, 237.5. It opened. It's up to 242.5 now. Big move up in the total. Of course, Lakers without Anthony Davis. We've talked about how the defense suffers. It actually played a little bit better against Miami, but they still lose by double digits. And offensively, they ran out of gas in that game on the back-to-back. They were in Orlando the night before. Miami takes care of business. Lakers looking to bounce back now against an Atlanta team that, look, Atlanta with no Trae Young, and suddenly they cover, and suddenly the game stays under. Actually, a better defensive effort the other night against the Brooklyn Nets. Really solid effort, actually, from Atlanta, considering how well Brooklyn has been playing of late. Trae Young is probable to come back tonight with that calf injury. He's back in the lineup. Hunter is questionable for the Hawks, currently dealing with an ankle issue for them. And it looks like Clint Capella remaining out for Atlanta tonight in this game. We know AD's out long term. As far as the Lakers go, the veteran point guard Dennis Schroeder probable with the foot injury, but he's been upgraded. Lonnie Walker questionable, downgraded to questionable with a lower body injury that he's been going through of late. Trae's back. That probably means maybe now you go against Atlanta here. And I actually am on the Lakers tonight, +6, believe it or not. Yeah, it is a Laker bet for yours truly. It hasn't been many this year, but I am on the Lakers tonight, +6. And, of course, the over. But, it's already moved a ton. I still endorse it. It's high, 242.5. But I certainly think points, and more points tonight between these two teams. Skee, what do you think here, Lakers, Hawks?
Yeah, everybody says Trae back, fade. Yeah, it's simple for me. I'm like, Hawks laying 7? Hell, I'm not laying 7 with the Hawks. They haven't looked like that kind of team to me at all. So a lot of guys, not really liking each other, or how I say all the time, it's not a team I'm trying to lay points with. Lakers, they haven't been good on the road. It is LeBron's birthday today. Maybe they'll try to go out there and get a win for him. But the main thing here is, no, I'm not laying multiple possessions with the Hawks. So laying Lakers, probably even first half. I know in the first half there's something like 22-13 against the spread, and the Hawks are kind of something like the opposite. I forgot the numbers now, but Lakers first half, Lakers full game will be the only ways I would look.
Yeah, 6.5 is out there with the full game on the Lakers. And if you like the Lakers first half, you can get them at +3, +3.5 tonight, and maybe split it up. You could do a first half full game split. Certainly, I think they covered the first half against Miami, but then they ran out of gas. And even in that game against Miami the other night, they were down by like 20 at one point. And in the fourth quarter, there they are, chipping away at the lead. They got it down to 6, and then Miami made a push late in the game and got it back to double digits. And the Lakers were showing some good fight in that game on a tough spot back-to-back on the road. So I definitely thought this was a very rare instance for me that let's take the Lakers here plus the 6, plus the 6.5. I do not trust Atlanta. And believe it or not, I think Trae Young coming back kind of screws up the chemistry. I thought they had pretty good chemistry the other night against Brooklyn without him. Now he comes back, and it's kind of a upset the apple cart kind of thing with him back on the floor tonight, potentially. What do you think here, Billy?
I think the move in this one here is, my guy Skee hinted towards it. It's LeBron's birthday. It's the King's birthday, man. How do you not celebrate and reign? And people are always like, it feels like a little bit of a theory, like narrative theory. Maybe LeBron doesn't really give a fuck the way that he was talking about the Lakers after that last press conference. But, I mean, some of these performances on LeBron's birthday are just ridiculous, man. 2009, 25th-year-old birthday, 48-point game. I'm going to read some of these off. 27 years old, he had 34 points that night. 24-year-old birthday, 38-point that night. 22-year-old birthday, 33 points. I mean, he's getting a little bit older, so 33-year-old birthday, 29 points. You get the theme here. LeBron's going to score a lot of points on his birthday. The Lakers have fallen apart without AD, but I think LeBron's going to show out for his birthday, allowing the Lakers to cover that 6.5. But I think the more predictive line has been the Lakers' first half totals have been hitting. I kind of want to get on top of it now. I forget, what was the number that I got on it? I think it was 55.5. No, 56.5 -120 for the Lakers first half over team total. And I also made a move on LeBron's over 30.5 points. Yes, it was a little bit of an old timings, but if you go through the list, I'm not going to bore you throughout the whole entire list. But in 8 games without Anthony Davis, he's been averaging 32 6.3 points, 6.9 rebounds, 6.5 assists with a 33% usage rating. I think he's going to smash the Lakers. I think he's going to smash the Hawks in this spot here, and I'm on the Lakers.
All right, liking the Lakers, and also you're liking, obviously, the props for LeBron on his birthday, the birthday boy, to have a nice night against the Atlanta Hawks in this one. All right, next up, we continue along. Phoenix and Toronto. The Raptors, 1.5, 2-point home favorites here, 222 the total in this game. Raptors struggles continue. I'm actually shocked they won in New York and Cleveland. I really am. I mean, the Knicks have played a little bit better lately while they were. It's been a rough week for them. The Dallas collapse and then San Antonio after that. But when the Raptors played the Knicks were playing some pretty good ball. They beat the Knicks. Then they beat Cleveland, a shocker, against the Cavaliers, winning 118-107 against Cleveland, a good team and especially terrific at home. And the Raptors beat them. And you're starting to think the Raptors turning a corner here. Well, no, they come back home and they were really just dominated in both games by the Clippers, 124-113. And then last night against Memphis, 119-106. The final score was flattering to Toronto. They were down by 20 plus at one point. And Nick Nurse has not criticized his team vocally very often, but last night he did after that game, saying our effort was not good, nowhere close to what it should be. And he has not used the E word very often when talking about his team, and that's questioning effort. Effort's never been an issue with the Raptors in these last few years he's been there. But he's starting to see it, the loose balls and the battle on the rebounding, battle on the glass. Defensively, they're not connected at all right now. And he was pretty adamant about not calling out his team kind of after that game last night for that effort against Memphis. Now, do we get the response that you would think in a spot like this? I don't know, but I'm not taking Toronto. In fact, you got to think Phoenix here. They're the better of these two teams, obviously, even without Devin Booker, who's going to be out once again for the Suns tonight. Johnson and Payne still out as well. But they are coming off just a dismantling at the hands of the Wizards, 127-102. But again, they were coming off the big road win at Memphis. It was kind of a tricky spot for the Suns. They have the rest advantage here off a blowout loss. They're the better of these two teams. Yeah, it's Phoenix plus the points for me. What do you think here, Skee? Phoenix, Toronto.
I didn't really like this game, but I was just glancing at the total. It opened. I was trying to see where it opened. It opened 225, and it's dropped to 222. That's what I would think when I see these two teams. But I was looking at what they've been doing lately. Last 2 weeks, 10-3 to the over. 6-1 to the over. If you look at the home road splits, maybe buck that one today and go over to 222. But not a game I feel very strongly about.
So just a lean to the over, if anything, here for Skee. How about you, Billy? Suns, Raptors.
Yeah, the Raptors haven't been this reliable team that we once remember them earlier this year and last year. I feel like they've been a reliable home team. Usually that's the spot that you want to back the Raptors as a short home favorite. But, I mean, they're home 5 ATS last 5 home games, 3-7 last 10 games ATS-wise. Suns are 7-2 ATS last 9 meetings in Toronto and 28-1 ATS last 29 meetings overall. I don't really read too much in that last stat, but it feels like I'm leaning towards the Sun pulling this one out. They have the rest advantage versus the Raptors, but it's just not something that I really feel convicted enough to put my money on New Year's Eve.
All right, next up, we continue along here. Detroit, Chicago. Chicago, 7.5 point home favorites, 231 being the total in this game. Obviously, you've got the Bulls coming off that 119-113 game against Milwaukee. A big win in overtime for them. Just such an up-and-down team. And, of course, they lost to the Rockets a couple nights before that at home as 7-point favorites. So they're a tough team to figure out. They have won 4 of their last 5. They did win 3 in a row on the road against Miami, Atlanta, and New York. We'll see if they can carry that over here into tonight's game. Still without, of course, actually Caruso, it looks like, has been upgraded here, and he actually does look like he might return from that concussion. He hasn't played the last 3 games. We'll see how he fares here. Again, he doesn't give you much offensively, 6 points per game, 3.2 rebounds, but better defensive player should help them at that end of the floor. If he comes back tonight, you've got Kobe White, game time decision as well. Patrick Williams, same thing. Detroit, obviously coming off the the game that they had against Orlando, that fight-filled game, 125-101, where they had the little fracas there between the teams. It's resulted in Hamidou Diallo being out. Killian Hayes also going to be out tonight for the Pistons as well in this game. You know what you usually get here from Chicago, especially off a big win, now laying big points, and that's them not covering in this kind of price range. So, I do lean Detroit. I don't know if I want to back them fully coming off that crazy game against Orlando, where they were very impressive in victory, but also suffering from a couple suspensions and stemming from the little brawl that took place in that game. But I'm certainly not laying it with Chicago, not after a satisfying win against the Bucks in overtime. These are often those spots where you want to sell high on Chicago, not buy on them. What do you think here, Skee, with the Bulls hosting the Pistons?
Well, it was somebody in the chat. Comment already passed by. They said they like the under and asking me about it. I don't really feel that strong about this game, but something that you have going for you if you do like the under. Road teams on the front end of a back-to-back so far this season, they're 64-38 to the under. That's 62.7%. And that says this Detroit team. So I'll give you that, and I guess that'll be a lean for me.
Speaking of the under, it's been dominant in the head-to-head series with these two teams, as in 8 straight meetings between the Bulls and the Pistons have gone under the total. So it has been extremely strong, trending toward the under when these teams meet up head-to-head. What do you think here, Billy?
Yeah, this is the first backward of the day. This is not a game that I want to be a part of.
All right. Yeah.
All right, Minnesota, Milwaukee. We've got the Bucks 7-point home favorites, 227.5 being the total. In this game, the money's come in on Milwaukee, betting them up from an opener of 5.5. Obviously, you've got Milwaukee at home, where they're developing some really scary home road splits and home road dichotomy. The Bucks this year, just 7-11 straight up on the highway, 8-9, I should say, straight up on the highway. 14-3 at home. And it's continued. Again, the loss to Chicago the other night in overtime, that was their 4th straight loss, all on the road. But now they're back home, and we've seen what they've done at home. It's like it's a totally different team. Jekyll and Hyde. They crush Utah. They crush Golden State their last 2 home games. They got the great record there. So I understand the money coming in here on Milwaukee. Minnesota is, playing a little bit better by their standards, I guess you could say. They beat Chicago. They beat Dallas. They split with Dallas. They lost to Boston, but a tough game there, right there down to the wire with Miami. Fell short. Nearly beat the Pelicans in their last game, but lost by 119, 118. Tough loss there. That being said, after 4 straight road losses, the Bucks probably want to kick someone's ass. And we know Minnesota, when they don't play their best, they're capable of losing by margin. Especially on the road. You look to some of their step-up games that the Timberwolves have had on the road. They lost by 12 at Boston. They got creamed by Portland when they were out there on the West Coast. Clippers beat them by 11. If Milwaukee shows up tonight, they could probably win this game comfortably. I would look at a Bucks first half full game split probably in this one. Anything for you here, Skee? Timberwolves and Bucks?
I would say I was waiting, honestly, for a chance to take the Bucks when they come back home. But after thinking about it a little bit more, this is still another spot where they had to travel. It's the 16th straight travel spot since Thanksgiving. So I want them, at the house, but I'm just not sure this is the correct spot. Still don't have Drew Holiday. I mean, who knows when Chris Middleton's coming back. I don't feel comfortable enough to do it. So if they come out and win this game, I might regret not taking them tonight, but the next game, game 2, you can count on me to be on Milwaukee. It's just the flat spot. First game after a long road trip.
Yep.
And just how many times they've had to travel, I can't do it tonight. So lean Minnesota, not on the game.
Yeah, 5-game road trip. And when you look at the longer term, just the last 10 games, road, back home, then on the road, back home, travel, on the road 5 straight, now back home. That's lots of travel since December the 9th. See if they can withstand it and have the energy needed to take care of business tonight. What do you think here, Billy? Timberwolves and Bucks?
Side-wise, I feel like it's hard to trust the T-Wolves. I gave that out as a best bet last time that they played. And, dude, that was the sweatiest fucking game of all games. Jason Tatum misses both free throws at the end. And no, it was a Clippers game last night. Timberwolves game, they blew a 17-point lead against like the Pelicans. It was horrible. It's been some sweaty best bets for me of recent. So I think I want to pass on the sides here. And top prop of the day is going to be Giannis Antetokounmpo over 6.5 assists at -140. In the last game versus Chicago, he had 7 assists on 27 potential assists without Drew Holiday in there. And Milwaukee went 4 for 20 in regulation on 3-pointers. So I think that should revert back to the mean. Minnesota's been struggling defending. 7th most assists per game and 6th most 3-pointers made per game. So the trends in this game kind of lean towards the over, but I like Giannis's assist here, and I lean towards the Bucks covering the first half. Other things that kind of really stood out to me in this game was I think somebody from the Timberwolves is going to have a good day, and Rudy Gobert's listed as questionable. They won't put the Naz Reid props up, but once they do, if Gobert gets ruled out, just know it's all aboard the Naz Reid train.
All right, there we go. Naz Reid. So keep an eye on that. All right, Philly and New Orleans. We've got the Pelicans initially home favorites, 3.5, and now we're down to pick 'em. Philadelphia is actually a 1-point road favorite in some spots now, and the total 229 in this one. Sixers off a loss to Washington, 116-111 on the road in their last game. Looking to bounce back here tonight against the Pelicans. Pelicans have won 4 in a row, though. Covered 3 of those, albeit schedule a little bit light. San Antonio, OKC, Indiana. None of those teams quite on the same level of the Sixers, but managed to get the job done in those games. We'll see how they fare tonight at home against the Sixers. I will say this, though. Pelicans have covered 3 of the last 4 against Philadelphia, yet Philly's won 3 of the last 4, so it's a little deceiving. Remember, New Orleans a decent-sized underdog in some of those games. That's not necessarily the case here. Philly has won 3 straight. The tough one for me, this is a pass for me. I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now. Not involved in side or total in this one. What do you think here, Skee? 76ers, Pelicans.
I don't like this game that much, but it's one of those games, the road team on the front end of a back-to-back, and we know those have gone under this year. But thinking that they get Maxey back, I just can't help but think Sixers are going to increase the pace, and we should see, a lot more scoring in this one. So I'm conflicted. I'm a pass on this one.
I think it's real tough because Philly off the loss, or else I probably would be on New Orleans tonight. What do you think here, Billy?
This is an exotic backwood here, man. We're rolling with the Sixers here. We took it money line -115, lost a little bit of that line movement off the opening number, but I think the Sixers are going to get back into a win column here. 7-2 ATS last 9 games overall, coming off that stinker against the Wizards, and overall they haven't really. Their recent road trip form hasn't been the best. 1-4 ATS last 5 road games, but both teams are going to be on a front end of a back-to-back, and I think Maxey being back should help out the Sixers for this one. I think Embiid should be able to limit what Zion does inside the paint. A lot of the times that the Pelicans are winning these games, I feel like it's correlated to Zion going over his point prop. But, and to be honest with you, I don't think Zion goes over tonight. I think Embiid stops everything down low. And I know the Pelicans have been good at home, 15-4 home record, but I think the Sixers are going to bounce back tonight. I like them here. I'm taking a -115.
All right, there we go. Sixers money line here, -115 for Billy Briz over the Pelicans. All right, Miami and Denver. Denver Nuggets, 4-point home favorites, 223.5 the total in this game. Denver coming off a loss to Sacramento, 127-126 in their last game after beating Sacramento the day before that. They split the 2 head-to-head games between the 2 teams, although it is worth noting Murray did not play the second of those 2 back-to-back games against Sacramento. Murray's status for tonight questionable with the knee issue that he is dealing with going into this game. Aaron Gordon as well questionable with the shoulder injury, so keep an eye on that prior to the opening tip. Miami, it's Caleb Martin, probable, it looks like, or questionable. He's the only one questionable. Looks like Jimmy Butler is going to play. He returned on Wednesday night against the Lakers, 27 points at a pretty strong game overall, 6 steals, 5 rebounds, 4 assists in the victory against the Lakers in that game. We'll see if he can duplicate that feat here tonight against Denver. Denver off the loss back home The Suns have played, or the Nuggets, I should say, rather, have played pretty good basketball at home. Miami has, started to show some signs of life, back-to-back home wins against the Lakers and the Timberwolves. But, I still have my questions about them, their ability to step up in class here. I mean, look at these games that they've won here lately. Indiana, Oklahoma City, Houston, San Antonio, Minnesota, Lakers. I mean, there's not a quality win in that resume for Miami. So if I'm betting this game, I'm laying the 4 with Denver. And I'm just waiting for confirmations on who's in, who's out. I'd really like Murray to be in for Denver, but even if he isn't, I might still take Denver. I don't know if Miami going on the road, I trust them here against one of the better teams they've played in weeks. What do you think here, Skee, Miami and Denver?
I think Miami plays at a pretty slow enough pace to where I can trust in under here. The more I kept thinking about it today, that's the way I've been feeling. And it's one of the road teams on the front end of a back-to-back as well. And Denver's actually been playing some defense lately. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I know the last 5 game stats were number 2 defensive rated team. So just thinking about those things, the best play in this game for me would be under the 224.
Yeah, 5-2 to the under for Denver the last 7 games, and they gave up just 91 to Memphis in a home win, 107 to Portland in a home win. I find especially at home lately, these last few games, they've been getting it better on the defensive end of the basketball court. So we'll see if they can bring it on the defensive end tonight as well, facing the Miami Heat. What do you think here, Billy?
The Nuggets aren't the best defensive team, but they played well at home. They won 12 of their last 15 home games. I think the Nuggets do roll here in this spot. I just want to see, like you said, some of that injury report. Historically, not a good spot for the Heat. They're 9-23 ATS in their last 32 meetings versus the Nuggets. I thought that really stood out to me. And 4-15-2 ATS in their last 21 games following a win. So it looks like they're kind of playing a little bit flat after they get that win under their belt. And 1-4 ATS last 5 games versus a team above 600. So those are 3 strikes, and I'm leaning towards the Denver Nuggets side. Mile high basketball, but won't be an official pick until we see something on the injury report. So it could be one of those ones where I might not tweet it out, but I end up having it in my back pocket because just the way the injury reports, I'm not going to tweet out a game 10 minutes before the shit starts. That's fucked up.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we've got Utah and Sacramento. We've got Sacramento 3-point home favorites, a high total here, 241.5, 242 in some spots here. This probably, I definitely have a small bet on the over. I don't love where the number is, but boy, I mean, when you look at head-to-head Sacramento, Utah last year, the last 3 head-to-head meetings, we saw 232. They saw 228 in the last one. We saw 259 between these two teams, trended over. Now, the total hasn't always been as high as we're dealing with here, but, the Utah Jazz, we've seen them, especially against weaker competition, fly over the total, in recent games, quite honestly. Look at the Detroit game, 126-111, flew over the total. San Antonio, 248 points in that game. It flew over the total. So I understand the move to the over. It's very high. That's the reason I'm keeping it a small bet, but I like the over. I think Sacramento is the lean, but I'm never in a rush to lay points with this team. But at the same point in time, you clearly are seeing it with the Utah Jazz now that they're coming back down to earth a little bit here the last several weeks. Now they're flirting around the 500 record, 19-18. They're still only 7-13 straight up here on the road, this Utah team. And obviously they're being priced in a range where they've got to come damn close to winning the game if they're going to cover the number. So slightly in Sacramento, small bet over for me in this one. What do you think here, Skee, Jazz and King?
Yeah, I agree with your assessment that the Jazz kind of coming back down to earth. I know they've only covered one of their last 5 games. And I know they've lost a couple, or maybe it's one of their last 5 road games. But I know they've lost a couple. So Kings, you know how I feel about them. It's not a team I usually like to lay points with. So it's not a game that I'm going to look to play here. If I have to play, I think the Kings are the right side. I'll probably look towards the over as well, just because I know how both of these teams play. But not a game I'm getting involved with.
All right, just a small lean to the over, and that's about it for Skee, but probably a pass for him from a betting-wise perspective. What do you think here, Billy?
I feel like I'm not doing this card justice by not grabbing a prop out of this game here, man. I feel like one of the higher over-unders of the day, and De'Aaron Fox over 24.5 points is staring at me, man. It was an amazing spot with him. Last 3 games, he's upped his drives to the paint from 14.1 towards 18.3 over the last 3 games. And Utah allows the 4th most points in the paint in December. And that over-under set at a pretty high number. And that inclines that De'Aaron Fox is probably going to go over tonight. And I think I want to be a part of the De'Aaron Fox bandwagon tonight. But I kind of, for these night games, it's very hard to play them this early because it's like you kind of want to beat the line move, but you also want to factor in the injury report. And if Sabonis is out, I probably like this prop even more and would put more money on it. But with Sabonis in, it'd probably just be a slight look.
All right, we got the final game of this Friday slate. Next up, Portland and Golden State. Portland 1.5-point road favorites, 232.5 being the total in this one. The Golden State Warriors, of course, have been one of the craziest home road split teams this season in the NBA. 3-16 straight up on the road, 15-2 straight up here at home. They've won 3 in a row, of course, at home against Memphis, Charlotte, and Utah after another dismal road trip where their only victory was against the struggling Raptors. So, again, this is a team that you just cannot touch them on the road, but this is the place you can back them. But you wonder, why is this line so short? Portland actually 1.5-point road favorites. It's because of the situation for Golden State. And it really is a tough situation right now that they're dealing with. Wiggins is out. Steph Curry, of course, is out for a longer period of time. It looks like we've got Draymond Green tonight that might not play, although it looks like he has been upgraded probable, so they should have him with that right foot issue. Wiseman, questionable with a left ankle issue for the Warriors. And there was some concern, too, because this guy's played well lately, and I think his props are worth a look, and it does look like he's going to play now. It's not delivery, it's DiVincenzo. Here for the Golden State Warriors. He has been very good for them, taking the spot. You know, he's had to really put on a lot more burden offensively on his shoulders with all the absences, including, of course, Steph Curry and Wiggins in particular. And he has done that. You know, he's averaging 12.5 points per game as of late for the Warriors. So it's vital with everybody else that's questionable or not playing tonight. Vital that DiVincenzo is in there for Golden State, and it looks like he's been upgraded to probable with that right knee issue. So I get it; they're banged up and everything, but you know, I'm at the point where I need to have a very, very good reason to go against Golden State at home. And now you're in a rare instance where they're a home underdog. So I understand Portland's favored; they're healthier right now. They're a capable squad, no question. Lillard's been great lately, but not in this price range am I interested in Portland as road favorites against a team that just flat out gets it done, regardless of the rotation, regardless of who's on the floor. Steve Kerr's team has been finding ways to get it done at home all season and particularly of late. What do you think here, Skee? Blazers, Warriors?
This game is another game where I'm not really too interested. I know Warriors have been beating on the Blazers, so maybe that'll be a reason for them to come out and want to win this one, but I like the Blazers when they're underdogs. You know what I'm saying? I don't really like to lay any kind of points or pay any price for them to win because I don't think they're a really good defensive team. If you talk about home road splits, I mean, look at the last 2 weeks. I think the Blazers are 1-4 straight up and against the spread. And Warriors 3-0. So, and you know how the Warriors have been all year at home, no matter who's on the court so far. So it's tough. I guess if I have to play it, I'll lean towards the home team. But again, not a game I'm gonna, put in my pocket.
All right, Billy, what do you think here? Blazers, Warriors.
I said the late night hammer spot. Skee, you want to get involved? There's money to be made.
I'd take Golden State, honestly, plus 1.5. If I would
take. I'm leading right there with you, Babano. I lean Golden State too, but if I'm leaning Golden State, I think I just got to go with the props. You were talking about Dante DiVincenzo. I like his over 21.5 points, rebounds, and assists. A little bit of a narrative street here, but he's going to get a matchup against Josh Hart. The two Villanova boys are going to be highly inspired going against each other, and I think it's going to inspire DiVincenzo to grab a couple more rebounds and shoot the rock a little bit more and be a little bit more assertive. But one prop that really stuck out to me was Jordan Poole over 3.5 turnovers at minus 105. I think it's the first time I've ever touted a turnover play ever in my life, but it's hard to ignore this, man. He's exceeded over 3.5 turnovers in 9 out of the last 10 games without Steph Curry this season. So if you're looking for a same game parlay, I feel like don't go to the Lakers and Atlanta game where the books want you to go. Go towards this late night hammer spot here, Warriors and Trailblazers. There's a lot of ways to get paid in this one. I like the points, rebounds, assists for DiVincenzo, Jordan Poole over 3.5 turnovers. And then on the Blazers side, if you want to connect that in a parlay, I like Lillard over 29.5 points. I think Lillard's going to have a good game here. And if you want to get cheeky, you could probably take a 3-point prop of Anthony Simons at 3.5 at -136. Pick and choose what you want and go with that, because I think this is the way to attack the game, because I feel like money line wise, you're going to get burnt either way. You're going to be a little bit pissed off by the result.
Yeah, I agree with that in the sentiment of the DiVincenzo props, I think, are the best bet in this game, rather than either side or total. No question about that. But if I had to, I'd lean Golden State in terms of the side. Just 15-2 at home. And I've seen Kerr, regardless of what he's got on the floor, he's found ways to have this team come up victorious here at New Oracle throughout the course of the season. Great stuff with Billy Briz and with Skee Profit. That's the Friday card. 158 live viewers on YouTube. Come on, hit the like button. One last show here, one last NBA Pub Hub session before the end of the year, the end of 2022. So make sure you hit that like button. We appreciate it very much. We will wrap things up with best bets right after we hear from Manscaped and Southtown 101. All right, Southtown 101. When you're in San Antonio, Texas, stop in. Great food, drinks, live music, DJs, karaoke, and manscaped.com. 20% off and free shipping with promo code PUBSPORTS. All right, best bets to wrap it up for our final show of the week, of the month, of the year here on the NBA Pub Hub. Skee, we'll start with you. What do you like for best bet?
My best bet is the Wizards. Like I said, just two teams going in different directions. I'll take them -5 points today.
All right, there we go. Washington Wizards -5 against Orlando. Best bet for a Skee Profit. Billy Briz, what do you got for best bet?
Yeah, best bet tonight. We're rocking with the Philadelphia 76ers on the money line -115. And top prop of the day, this is a birthday for the Kings. So shout out Slaughter and shout out LeBron James, over 30.5 points. We're rocking it tonight. And no, these are not homer picks. These will cash. Put it in your pocket.
All right, there we go. Multiple best bets here for Billy Briz on this Friday slate. All right, best bet for me here on this card. Tough decision, a couple that are going through back and forth on, but I'm going to go with and I'm going to stand by it here. Hope Murray plays, even if he doesn't. I really think Denver gets it done against Miami. In fact, it's 3.5 at bookmaker /Chris, so we can use that as the official number for this one. Nuggets get it done. They've played really good ball at home lately. Denver Nuggets -3.5 against the Miami Heat. That's going to be my best bet for this Friday card. And that'll wrap it up for this Friday edition of the show. Final NBA Pub Hub of the year. It's been another great year. Of course, this is our third season, I think, doing this show. It's been lots of fun, and we're going to have a lot more fun still to come in 2023. We got well over half the NBA season left, so looking forward to what 2023 has in store. We thank everybody in the chat for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. For Skee Profit, for Billy Briz, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great weekend. Happy New Year. Best wishes in 2023, and we will see you on the other side, 2023, next Monday, the OG edition of the NBA Pub Hub. Skee, Dutch, Wham, and yours truly, Monday, right here on Pub Sports Radio.